Do you find capital gains confusing?
They won't be after this. Welcome to another episode of Real Talk with Anna. I'm here with Jonathan Griffiths, and we're going to talk to you about capital gains. So first off, capital gains is pretty confusing to most people, but typically they ask the question when they buy their second property. So when am I subject to capital gains when I buy my second property or I choose to sell a second property?
So the nice thing in Canada is, unlike some other jurisdictions, your principal residence is not taxed.
Okay.
So you can make $1 million on your principal residence when you sell it, and there's no tax.
Okay, perfect.
So where it becomes difficult is that each couple is only allowed to have one principal residence.
Okay.
So if you have more than one property, then one of those properties is going to be subject to capital gains tax.
Okay.
So often what will happen is a couple will buy a condo. They'll start with a small condo and then they do better and better, and then if they do really well, they can afford to keep the condo and then buy another property.
Okay.
So the question you always get is, okay, what's going to happen now when I sell?
Okay.
And the way that it works out is that capital gains tax is calculated so that half of the profit, like half of the net profit after all expenses, goes into your income.
Okay.
So it's like
it's added on
to what you already made.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're a rich real estate agent and you made $500,000, it's going to be added to that. So you make $200,000 profit on the property.
And it's just done as it normally would be for taxes.
That's right.
Let's move on to an investment property. Let's say you have your primary residence and then you are buying additional properties to rent out as an investment. So you now have a second property and a third property, and they're all being tenanted and rented out, but now you want to sell one of those properties.
So when you sell that property, what will happen is that you calculate the net profit, and then half of that net profit will be added to your income.
Okay, so similar to the couple that we spoke about earlier.
Same thing.
It's just added to your income.
Added to your income, and then you pay tax on that during that year.
Okay. And what if you have a property that you haven't had it in your possession for a full year? So you buy your second property and then, let's say for example, you flip that home and you want to resell it, but it hasn't been the year. Is there an additional penalty for that?
It seems as if the tax department is informally deciding that you should keep it for a year.
Okay.
There's no specific.
Okay.
There's no specific provisions. But if you buy and sell too quickly, the tax department may say that you're in the business of buying and selling homes.
Okay.
And if you are, then they tax you at full tax because they say it's your inventory. It's like you're in a business of buying and selling, as opposed to being in a business of retaining properties, renting them out, and getting the income from them. So, and if they decide you're in the business of buying and selling homes, it's full tax.
Right.
It's not capital gains tax.
Yeah, so you get taxed on the full profit. So if you made $100,000, that $100,000 now gets added to your income versus $50,000.
That's right. Yes.
Okay. I'd like to thank Jonathan Griffiths for being here with us today. If you have any legal related real estate questions, please give him a call. His information will be on the screen. And I'd like to thank you personally for joining in on another episode of Real Talk with Anna. My contact information is below, and follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Anna Sold It.